Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Sam here, just making another video. This video, I just wanted to show you guys how to provide liquidity on a project. This project is DefiKingdoms, and the cryptocurrency associated with it is Jewel. Granted, there are others associated with it, but that would be a pretty deep explanation I would need to get into. So I'm going to try to make this video pretty short and sweet about providing liquidity, but first I do want to tell you a little bit about Jewel. First, let's talk about the price action. I got in this project when it was about $1.90, a little over a year ago. Right at the beginning of the project, this chart right here, this is dextools.io for some smaller projects. This is actually a really good site to go to because CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko is not accurate on the price all the time. So what I'm going to show you is, this is the weekly charts, and it starts off right here at $6.30. This was not the price of Jewel when it launched. It was well under $1 when it launched. So when I got in, it was a little under $2. I initially came into the project because they were offering, at the time, I think it was 4,600% APY on your investment. But this project launched a few weeks before I got in, and at one point it was hundreds of thousands of percent APY, which seemed too good to be true. But when you're a degenerate in a bull market, I mean, this is something that you can't just ignore. You got to look at it. So I did look at it. I decided to play around with it a little bit, and I decided, all right, I'm going to take a chance and I'm going to invest a decent sized amount of money into this project just for a couple of weeks so I could accumulate rewards. So my plan was I put $20,000 in of profits from other projects and whatnot, and I let that money sit in DefiKingdoms for a couple of weeks. And the price of Jewel ended up going up significantly in a short amount of time. So after a couple weeks, that $20,000 was worth about $30,000. So I cashed it out. I had my $10,000 profit, and I just cashed everything out. And then I was stuck with my rewards. I had like 6,000 something Jewel tokens, which at the time were worth a couple dollars each. But the price of Jewel over the next couple months skyrocketed all the way to $22. People were jumping in this project left and right. It became volume-wise and transaction-wise the top crypto game at one point during the bull market, even passing Axie Infinity, which is the well-known crypto game leading the charts when it comes to crypto projects for gaming. So this project picked up some steam, and it got up to over $22, as you can see by this wick right here. Actually, it says close to $25. So I had at one point over $135,000 or $150,000 worth of locked Jewel tokens, which, and I'll get into it a little bit, but in DefiKingdoms, so here's the website, beta.defikingdoms.com. Essentially, I had these locked tokens, and what you do is you buy the NFTs in the game, or you can summon them, which is another. Maybe I'll make another video sometime about how to play the game and what everything does. But these heroes essentially can do quests. There's different professions. For example, this one is a miner. And so the purpose for this miner for me was to take my locked balance and I would go on quests. So essentially I would go here within the game. I'd start crystal mining, which was the token that I was mining and selling for cash. And I would, at the time it was Jewel I was mining. So I was mining all that Jewel and able to sell tens of thousands of dollars worth of Jewel prior to the project crashing all the way down to 10 cents, which people thought it was over from the outside looking in. But I've been in this project since the first month of its existence. And I've been following it essentially every single day since. And let me tell you, this project, in my opinion, not financial advice, is here to stay. I think we'll definitely be going back to $5 Jewel, currently sitting at 30 cents. So do the math on that. But I think that it's also very possible that we go back to all-time highs in the next bull run. And honestly, a $50 Jewel would not surprise me. When this price pumped up to $22, Jewel, the tokenomics for Jewel, this wasn't an inflationary token. There was a large supply of Jewel that was going to unlock and completely get dumped on the market, which would have tanked the price. But some changes were made. So basically, now Jewel is deflationary. And if it's not deflationary, it's very close to being deflationary. So it's a long story to tell you what all they did, but they changed the way that Jewel is made in the game, or the purpose of Jewel. And they created Crystal, which is what you're seeing here, and Jade. And Crystal, for example, can be used in this game to buy heroes, sell heroes. When you're summoning, which is essentially combining two heroes to make a new hero, that will burn Crystal. So in certain ways, Crystal and Jade are also deflationary, but I don't want to get too distracted from the main point of this video. Just wanted to show you guys kind of how I got involved, what it is. It's a crypto game involving multiple crypto assets. You go on quests in the game, you get this sort of loot that you can sell. There's different rarities for different objects, and there's certain things you can do in the game to make money. And if you really dig into this project, there's an unlimited number of ways that you can use your research to make money. It would take a lot of time, but you can make money through buying and selling a lot of these items in here, which right now there's not a lot of utility for a lot of them. But if you speculate and look deep into the woods enough, you can kind of tell what's going to be useful and kind of anticipate price increases for certain objects. So if you wanted to get deep in the woods, potentially you could make a lot of money here. And you still can by just investing in Jewel, in my opinion. Again, not financial advice, but providing liquidity. So this is what got me into the game to begin with. I'm going to show you how that's done because I'm trying to do it right now anyway. So what you essentially do when you're providing liquidity, you want to make sure that you have an equal number of two different tokens for a pair, a liquidity pair that's available. So if I go to the gardens here in DefiKingdoms, and it's not going to look like this when you're providing liquidity for other projects. It's pretty boring looking. This is built into the game, so it kind of looks cooler. It's a more fun way to do it. Maybe seems confusing, but once you do it a couple times, it's really not. So I'm going to go here to the seed box, and this is going to show me the percentage, the APY that I can get from combining pairs to provide liquidity. Some tokens carry more risk than others, like everything in cryptocurrency. Bitcoin, obviously low risk. Stable coins, low risk. But when you're talking about highly speculative coins like Crystal, Jade, and some other coins, then you're obviously risking more. So you can get 89% APY if you have half Crystal and half Bitcoin and you provide liquidity. So this is just an example. This is not what I'm going to be doing. I believe that obviously I'm in crypto for the long haul. I think Bitcoin and Ethereum, Cardano, some other ones are really safe bets. Over time, they're not going to go anywhere but up. Maybe in the short term they won't, but long term they will. And Jewel, I also believe in Jewel, which is the main token in this game. So what I want to do is find a pair that I can trust. And because I think over the next several months to a year we're going to begin rising and starting up a bull market, I am going to be looking for non-stablecoin pairs. I'm looking for cryptocurrency pairs, and I'm going to keep these in here for quite a while. So what I want to do is the Jewel Bitcoin pair, and I know this says BTC.B, but this is essentially, it's Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin on another blockchain, and I know that can sound confusing, but it's the same price as Bitcoin. Everything's the same. It's just on a different blockchain. It's essentially wrapped, and you can sell it anytime for the same amount that Bitcoin's worth, and I'll kind of show you guys that. But the first step, since I found the pair I want, as you can see, I'm going to get 44.85% APR because I'm on the DFK chain, and there's two maps in this game on different chains. The power token for this is Crystal, so I'm going to get paid. And Crystal right now is worth like 10 cents each. So I'm going to get 44.85% APY, and it's going to be paid out to me in locked Crystal. Some of it will be locked, some of it will be unlocked. And then I'll be able to use my miners to unlock it. And then eventually, whatever's not unlocked, after about a year, will be automatically start to unlock without me mining it if I want to. So what I do to start in this game, like I said, you want to make sure you have an equal pair. So I'm going to go to the trader, which is in the marketplace. So I showed you here. This is like the map and you can click on world map and look at it this way too. But I go to the marketplace, go to the trader, And I already did this, so you guys won't see it exactly, but Bitcoin, and I got my Joule. So I want to have an equal amount of both, right? So if I hit max, it has 5,668 joules what I'm going to get, which I have enough of. So I have enough to do this. I obviously want to keep some leftover Joule because that's the gas fee for every transaction on the DFK chain. So what I'm going to do now that I have an equal amount of Bitcoin and Joule is I'm going to go back to the gardens. I'm going to go to the seed box. And I am going to find the pair I was looking for. Joule Bitcoin, deposit. So now I'm going to add the Joule and Bitcoin liquidity. It's going to have me pool my tokens together right here. So this is where I am setting the max amount of Bitcoin. It's going to also pair it up with this much Joule. I'm going to supply the tokens. So if you've never done this before you can confirm supply, it might say approve supply or approve this or that. When you're doing something in crypto with a wallet for the first time, it's always going to make you do a transaction to approve it moving forward. So I already did that, so you guys don't see that here. But now I am approving this transaction where I am pooling my Joule and my Bitcoin. It's essentially creating one pooled token, and I'll no longer have my Joule or Bitcoin, technically. So I am in full control of this. It's not like it's an exchange and something can tie it up. The only way I'm losing this is if somehow the blockchain experiences a hack, which has happened, but I trust that it's not going to. I'm using a small enough amount of money where, with the low possibility of that happening, even if it does happen, I'm not gonna go be depressed because I lost all my life savings. Like, I am investing a small part of my portfolio into this. All right, so now that I have the pooled tokens right here, oh, not right here, it's not here, but right here, and now it says 0.000193. Don't really worry too much about that number. The point is you paired up your tokens. It shows, okay, here's the amount of Bitcoin that's in there. Here's the amount of Joule. So now what I'm going to do is deposit the tokens. I'm going to deposit the full amount. And okay, so this, I've never done this before with this pair, so this is what I was talking about. I'm going to hit approve. So this is going to approve this sort of transaction moving forward. Yes, I give permission for the pool and for the blockchain to transact with that. And it just takes a few seconds on the DFK chain. As you can see, this is my 5,431st transaction on DFK chain. There's a lot of transactions when you're questing and leveling up your heroes. But in my opinion, it's worth it because those heroes are going to be worth a lot more than the ones that are not leveled up. So it's still taking a little bit of time to finally approve it. Okay, perfect. I'm going to deposit it. So we're depositing the liquidity. We're burning a little bit of Joule for the gas fee. And guys, I know this is kind of a long video, but this is what it is like when you're providing liquidity for other pairs on other blockchains, on other websites. It's the same type of process. So this one's just built into a game format, but it's very, 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 very similar when you're doing it everywhere else. So once this gets done, I will show you what it looks like next. All right, so in just a second, my funds should be in there. I should be providing liquidity, and that's really the last step other than kind of monitoring what you're doing. Okay, well, here we go. All right, so I'm good to go. I've already started accumulating rewards in Crystal, and I'll show you kind of my next step before this video ends here. When you want to claim some of your rewards, you can view your harvest and you can just claim it. It'll still keep your tokens pooled. You'll still be earning your rewards. but you'll be able to claim it without cashing everything out. So if you want to take those rewards and convert them into US dollars, you can do that. If you want to take those rewards and reinvest them and add them to your liquidity, then you can do that as well. And so over time, the APY will slowly decrease. Essentially, the reason they can reward all of this stuff is because when the game was built, they set aside tokens specifically to reward people for farming, essentially. And let's see. So I'll find my pair. An easier way to do this would actually be to go to the Druid, which, is this a Druid? This is not the Druid. All right, I can go to the marketplace, talk to the Druid. It'll show me my pools that I'm providing liquidity. We'll manage it. And it shows my pooled Bitcoin and my pooled Jewel. So one last thing I need to tell you guys about providing liquidity. So let's say, for example, the price of Jewel is $1, just to make it easy. And the price of Bitcoin is $20,000. Well, if Bitcoin goes up 20% and Jewel goes up 20%, then that's great. I'm keeping the same amount of tokens. I'm getting the same amount of gains. It's all good. In the situation where Jewel goes up 500% and Bitcoin goes up 10%, well, obviously, if I would have just had Jewel this whole time, I would have made way more money. Even with the 49% APY, I would have made a lot more money just holding Jewel. So on the flip side of things, if Jewel goes down 500% and Bitcoin is up 10%, then I am going to, what they're going to do essentially with these tokens, even though it says I have 5,717 pooled Jewel, essentially I'm going to get way more Jewel and less Bitcoin, if that makes sense. And the reason for it is you're pooling these tokens and you're putting half and half in, and it kind of balances it out. So when you're providing liquidity, there's one thing to consider. It's called impermanent loss. Impermanent loss is exactly that. It's when you actually are at a loss because maybe you're not at an actual loss, but maybe your gains are less because of the lopsided price action between the two tokens. And so you have to consider that when making this decision. If you think Jewel is going to go up 500%, Bitcoin's not going to go up 500%. So you might just want to hold on to Jewel and not really care about the 49% APY. But if you think that we're in a bear market and things are going to be really slow for a year, you might want to provide liquidity on projects that are offering a high yield if you trust in the project. That's what I'm doing. I've been providing liquidity and getting a lot of tokens and converting those rewards to Jewel right now. But in the past, I was converting those rewards to US dollars, and that's how I was able to cash out lots of profits on this game. So if you guys want a further description on how this all works, and I realize there's a lot to it, and a lot of this might not make sense to people who are new into crypto, feel free to ask me in the Discord. But for now, this is essentially how you do it. And then you just do all of that in reverse when you're ready to cash out. So hey, thanks for watching the video. And if you have any questions, like I said, just reach out. Thanks.